Let's talk a little bit about teamwork. Teamwork is very important in the video game development world, and I want to introduce it to you in this particular module because you will, in the very last class, in the project class, be working as a team creating a game. So I want to bring this to you so you're familiar with working as a team. So the first thing you need to do as a team is to establish what your roles are. And for this particular course, your role will need to be who's doing what and at what time and when everything is done. So you can see here in the class, let me get that in there for you, that I have this team meeting dates and times, and this is actually a Google Doc. And you would open up the Google Doc and see, well, okay, it tells you this is the assignment, which goes to the Google Doc. But there is a Google Doc, and you can get to it in another way here. Let me show you that as well. Under the collaborations, you can see the dates and times there as well. But when you complete this, you have to go into the assignment and let me know that you completed it so I can grade you. So all it states is what time works best for you. What days are you available to work as a team? And this is where you'll come in and say at these times. Now you have to decide, how are you going to meet as a team? Are you going to meet as a team via email? Let me tell you, that is long and tedious because not everyone gets their email. Are you going to come in here into the conferences and create conferences? Are you going to meet in the chat feature and just chat, which is probably the easiest right here, this chat feature? Say, let's meet in chat at 10 a.m. on Tuesday morning, and you come in here and you can just chat with each other about some information of what you're going to do as a team. So let me go back to our module and back to our slide here and talk about teamwork. So teamwork is, well, it's like group work. It's doing everything together. So what are you going to do as a team? You're going to actually meet and make decisions and then have some ideas and then perform those ideas. And this is where the team is very important, because if one person fails, the whole team fails. And you got to keep that in mind. Down here at the bottom of this particular slide is a Webster's 9th edition definition of what a team is. I'll let you go ahead and read that before we move on. So when you meet as a team, you have to set expectations. You know, what are we going to do? When are we going to do it? How fast are we going to do it? How long is it going to be? Who's going to do what? And all of that good stuff. And you have to stick to those expectations. You have to make that commitment to perform and meet. If your teammate decides that maybe they've read something you've written and they want to provide some feedback, go ahead and listen to that. Listen to that feedback. Really pay attention to what they're saying. If you disagree with that feedback, make sure you get clarification, because sometimes, especially in the written word, things are misconstrued. So just contact them, say, hey, you know, when I was reading your feedback, I read that you preferred I do this, and I did that, and I did that because this is the way I see this performing action, blah, blah, blah. You know, just get clarification before you jump into a reaction. Now, the roles and functions of a team are probably more important when you get into the video game development aspect of teamwork, because this is where maybe one person is better with textures, another person is better with scripts, another person is better with 3D modeling. This is where roles and functions really come into play. So your teamwork timeline. So most of the time, you have a pre-production, a production, and a post-production. This is when you're really developing something. So in this particular class, for Module 2, you're going to meet, you're going to make choices on what's expected in the assignments. Then you will perform those choices that are expected of the assignments. You probably won't meet too often. You know, once the assignments are being done, you can set these dates. It might be good for you, maybe once a week, to meet at a particular time in the chat area or wherever you have chosen, Skype, anything of your choice. Just meet, make sure everyone's on the same page. Now when you're documenting, I'm going to go back to the class. When you are documenting on some of these collaborations, let me go into Teamwork Module 2. So we have the first one, Formal Elements. And in Formal Elements, you know, I pretty much tell you, as a team, you play one of the games from the list below. The team must decide which game will be played for the virtual environment. That's one where you have to play it together. I'm hoping that you play it together. If it's not possible, get with me and let me know. But then you have to provide your choices here of what you're going to do, what you're going to play. And I go on and I do an example here of the assignment. Once you choose, you're going to choose, because this is the Formal Elements chapter, and there are so many formal elements. Let's say Sally Jane says, I'm going to play such and such a game for single player and such a game for multiple player, and then I'm going to meet everyone in the virtual environment to do this. And Sally's going to choose so many. As a team, Sally will choose a couple, maybe two, one or two please, would be great. 2 of the formal elements, and she's going to write about those formal elements in the game. This example here, I just put my name because that's very important. I won't know who's writing unless you put your name, and then what game was played, where it came from, and then what happened in each of the formal elements. However, you only need to choose 2 formal elements to write about, but all of them must be written about. So as a team, you must make sure that all of the formal elements are listed. I hope that makes sense. And you're going to do this throughout the assignments for Module 2. All right, let's go back to our presentation. And we're at the end of this. So if you have any questions about what is expected in this module as a team, please send me an inbox message. This is very important that we get this moving and grooving. So I'll try to be there on your first meeting so I can make sure everyone's on the same page. All right, go forth and play.